You are listening to the unabridged excerpt of Chapter 1 from Tattoo Killer, Book 1 of the Tattoo Crime series by A.J. Norris. Please be advised that this excerpt contains adult content and language. Copyright 2016. Chapter 1. Mikey. Why is this happening? The question was the only thing Mikey could think about as the metal door of the Webster City lockup cell slammed shut and closed him inside. The arrest surprised him. He had a clean record apart from the drunk driving conviction from 5 years ago. Murder, though? Not him. So not him. Sure, he had tattoos, but come on. He looked around the holding cell. The walls, ceiling, and floor were painted a pale institutional green. A stainless steel toilet and sink combo was mounted to the cinder block wall, out in plain sight. Good thing he didn't need to take a dump. He sat down on the built-in bench and thought about how best to use the phone, which was mounted on the wall opposite the toilet. Unfortunately, he couldn't place a call to his parents, not unless the thing had a direct line to heaven. Lying back on the bench, he ran his hands through his hair, leaving it spiked down the middle. His shoulders and wrists ached from having been cuffed for hours. A deputy cleared his throat outside his cell. Mikey flipped his eyelids open. 2 other officers flanked him. He dropped his legs over the side of the bench and planted his feet on the floor. Hardin? Mikey? The deputy in the middle said. Yeah, that's me, Mikey said. Who else could it be? He was the only one in the cell. He stood and puffed his chest, ready to defend his name. Most people couldn't believe that that was his actual first name, and at 6'4", not many had the nerve to question why a grown man would go by a child's nickname. Growing up, he'd been teased and constantly asked if he liked things. Any things, not only cereal. "'Kay, you know the drill," the deputy said. What drill?" "Listen, asshole, stick your hands through the slot in the door so I can cuff you." Mikey couldn't understand why this guy assumed he'd done what he was accused of, and further to the point, clearly he'd not read his nonviolent criminal record. He put his hands to the space in the door, not much bigger than a mail slot. The deputy cranked the cuffs around his wrists. Mikey winced and stepped backward. The door swung wide with a grating squeal. "Hands!" The guard barked at him. Mikey thrust his hands toward the deputy, who uncuffed one of Mikey's hands, spun him around by the arm, and hooked his hands behind his back. The officers led him out of the cell. "Where are you taking me?" Mikey asked. "For some reason, Detective Hunter wants a word with you. Let's go." "I already made my statement. What's he want?" "How should I know?" The vocal deputy deposited him in a chair and locked him inside an interrogation room at the end of a hallway. Mikey looked at his reflection in the 2-way mirror and rolled his bloodshot eyes. Was someone lurking on the other side? He tapped his toes on the floor. His shoes had been removed and replaced with orange booties, not much thicker than paper. He put his forehead down on the table in front of him. After what felt like hours, the door opened, and someone in an ill-fitting suit carrying 2 cups of coffee and a folder under his arm walked in and stood opposite him. "Mr. Hardin? I'm Detective Hunter," Cheap Suit said, placing the steaming paper cups on the table. He slapped the thin brown folder down. The man's hair was grayed at the temples. He took a sip of the coffee on the right. His eyes rose to Mikey's. "Your record's clean. Mostly." The detective smirked on the last word. "I know. So?" Mikey asked, sitting up straighter. Hunter narrowed his eyes at Mikey and took a sip of coffee, this time from the cup on the left. "So you indicated that you knew the victim, Felicia Potts, but only went on a few dates? Banged her once?" "Yeah, that's right," Mikey said, looking the detective in the eye. He had a nagging feeling he knew the guy from somewhere. "Why?" the detective asked, folding his arms over his chest. "Why what? You mean why did I bang her, or why did I only go out with her a few times?" "Both." Hunter picked up one of the cups. "Decided I didn't like her. Not my type. But that doesn't prove I killed her." "Hey, listen. If we're going to be here a while, can you at least cuff my hands in front of me? My shoulders are killing me." Hunter chuckled without humor. "You're something else." "Do you know me?" When the detective didn't respond, Mikey sighed. He rolled a shoulder and muttered, "Shoulders are killing me." "Sorry to hear that." The detective leaned his hands on the table and grinned. Mikey breathed deeply. The cuffs clanked against the metal chair. Detective Hunter opened the folder and spread some pictures out on the table. One glance, and Mikey averted his eyes. Bothers you? Yeah, what the fuck is that? He turned his head back to look at the detective and immediately regretted it. Hunter was holding one of the photos up. That is the victim after we pulled her out of the lake. Jesus, how long's she been in there? He coughed and swallowed rising bile. 3, maybe 4 days. Some kids on a fishing trip with their old man spotted her floating near the shore of Lake Webster. Hunter sifted through the photos and picked up another. This was taken where the body was found, and this, he held up a picture taken with the victim lying on an autopsy table, is what her parents get to bury. Mikey needed to get out of this room. The images nauseated him. His stomach churned. Can you put those away? He swallowed hard again. I can't stand seeing them. Hunter looked up at him with an inquisitive brow raised. Wouldn't have pegged you for a weak stomach. Well, you were wrong. And it's not just the pictures. It's the thought someone would have done that to her. How did she die anyway? Maybe this was an obvious question. He looked down at the table, focusing on a scratch in the metal. The detective inhaled and let the breath out slowly. He sipped his coffee, alternating between the cups. What? Mikey said. You don't read the papers? Watch TV? Mikey shook his head. No? Nope. Surprised? Mikey asked. The detective put the photos away. Blow to the back of the head, likely while she was in the water, considering she had on a swimsuit. Mikey wondered why no one had seen anything during the murder, but didn't ask. He wanted to get the hell out of there, not take up residency. Cheap Suit cleared his throat. I'll tell you what. You sit tight and... Mikey snorted. Where am I going to go? He splayed his hands behind his back as much as he could with his wrists shackled. Humph. Funny guy. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this excerpt of Tattoo Killer. Please visit www.ajnorrisauthor.com for more information about this book.